Hey guys, it's MySoPods and more with me. I hope everything's going well with you and you're taking care of yourselves and the ones that you love. It's going to be a different Thankful Thursday, kind of emotional and impromptu, but I think it's going to be a good one and positive. And I think when all is said and done, I'm going to feel a lot better, and I hope that you are too. Before I launch into any of that, happy Black History Month. And I will actually kind of touch off with that in a moment. But before I do any of that, I'm going to kind of pause here, and I would like you to let me know down in the comment section below, maybe how you're doing, what you've been up to. If you feel like it, maybe let me know something you're thankful for, and if you're feeling incredibly bold, maybe let me know all of that, but 3 things that you're thankful for, as I'm about to do. So I'm going to pause and let you handle your business for several moments. And now with all that out of the way and nothing more to say, let's hop into the 3 things that I'm thankful for today. In the vein of Black History Month, I want to talk about one of my favorite people outside of anything. He's just inspiring in so many ways. I may kind of touch on it on the end, but I don't want to go too much into it because realistically, as I don't have any script or anything I say here will not do the gentleman justice. But I am thankful for Booker T. Washington. I'm a history fanatic. There are so many lessons in history, so many things that we are repeating that if we paid attention to history, we would at least not do so erroneously. Booker T. Washington is a Black American who is notable for what he did, I would say, post-Civil War. And, you know, he's inspiring in so many ways. From going to being a slave to being freed at 9 years old, which is, again, my youngest is 8 years old. And picturing her, or any kid, living as a slave for 8 and 9 years is just fascinating. Then, just before I fast forward to what he has done, just knowing that in spite of that, what he accomplished is just mind-boggling, inspiring, and all that. So after being emancipated as a slave, which if you know anything about history, it's not like it was a very smooth transition. He went on to learn how to read, write, and all that. Went to a school, but he actually had to walk several hundred miles. It was a 500-mile trek. He had to go there. When he got there, he was kind of denied admission, and the people running the school, in essence, made him go out of his way to show he was worth the investment of them allowing him in there. So for a little bit of time, he kind of cleaned, showed his competency, and then was finally admitted, which was awesome. Later, he went on to build from the ground up the Tuskegee School for Black Americans, and just, again, this is just a snowflake on the tip of the iceberg of Booker T. Washington. He helped me find faith in me, in God, in myself, and the country, which, again, the way things are today, I implore you to go and watch. I don't know the exact name of it, but his Atlanta speech was the Atlanta Compromise or something like that. Because again, I would just butcher it and not do him justice. So on this Thankful Thursday, the first thing I am thankful for is, again, Booker T. Washington, because he is, like I say, this country, this world, and our future has been built upon and is being built upon the shoulders of great people. And he is great and has done so much. So I'm thankful for Booker T. Washington. This is going to be short, a little bit difficult, but very much heartfelt. I need to be mindful of what I say, because I do talk about on here how my family history is very complicated and not in a positive way. But so I need to be mindful of what I say, and more so because some people have asked to not share certain information about this. So again, I feel like I'm verbally tap dancing on eggshells in a landmine field right now, so I apologize for being so awkward in how I'm talking. I don't want to say the wrong thing and then have to go and edit it out and redo all that. And I honestly, I just like being able to talk freely, whether it's lying or being deceptive or things like this, where again, I'm not trying to be rude and I'm understanding of the other party. I just sometimes forget myself and want to make sure I'm not being rude, disrespectful, or thoughtless. But I have had a relative pass away today, and without going into too much because I can't, I am incredibly thankful for the time that we've had. And once this part has passed and I can talk more freely about it, I'm very excited to share one of the best memories and moments that I have with that person. So again, lately, as I'm actually kind of going back to Booker T. Washington and faith in God, as I find myself getting closer to God, I'm not so negatively struck by loss like this. I'm actually thankful in some ways, envious in ways, because of what I believe those people are experiencing right now in heaven. So to me, it's a very beautiful thing. Again, this is a very emotional, thankful Thursdays. I think have I been saying thankful Tuesdays? I don't think so. But from this to recently, Brian, again, it's been a rough few years. But my point is, as I'm transitioning and I say maturing and finding more of God in myself and finding more of God everywhere else, like I say, in terms of progress, that those losses have been, I don't want to say getting easier and being easy, but a lot more manageable and a lot more, like I say, positive. And I don't know. It's I find it very peculiar. It's a, I don't know. I don't know your faith. And again, I'm not even sure about mine. Like I say, I'm kind of stumbling towards God and Christianity and all that. But in all of it, I just, going back from my mom, my best friend, a couple of my Marines, again, I don't want to, I can say it, a couple of my uncle John, my aunt Arlene. I'm just trying to make sure these are not people whose name I shouldn't be dropping, but my mom, my grandma, as I mentioned, Brian, one of them. The more recent this loss is, the easier it has been, and again, almost joyous in some ways, in that Brian is one example, but then my mom going back, and then this person recently. When someone, and again, my mom was very vivid to me, more so because I witnessed the way it affected other people. It didn't affect me so much, but because I've seen loss before, literally, in various ways. But seeing people suffer and slowly degrade over time can wear you out as the individual trying to love and support. And eventually, in my experience, sometimes with some people, it's a relief, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, once they move on, because they are now no longer physically suffering, no longer degrading. I will say, I remember my brother had a very hard time seeing my mom degrade like that, so much so towards the end he mentally could not go there because it was difficult for him to process. Now, it's not my or anyone else's place to say that's right or that's wrong, because that's him, and I can only understand and support and give him sympathy in that, not judge and say what you should have done, what you could have done, or why didn't you do this and everyone else did that. It's very difficult. So in moments like this, I find comfort in that. There, at the very least, if you remove what is the spiritual aspect of heaven, if we boil it down to the simplest form, that person is no longer suffering. And I've heard out of the mouths of people that even in a non-religious way, there have been points that they have been suffering so much that dying was preferable. Not my choice, not my place, not my decision to judge and all of that, but hearing it and seeing it and experiencing all of that is not easy, even in the best of cases. And again, I guess I didn't plan on this Thankful Thursday going here, but I am very thankful that my relative is up there with Jesus, with my mom, and so many other beautiful people. So I'm thankful for that. I'm going to cheat here a little bit for time's sake and just say that my third spot is generally reserved for one of my daughters. And I tried to make it a rule not to do what I'm about to do, which is say I'm thankful for all of my daughters. The reason is I like to use this as a way to shine a light on my daughters individually, both for myself, for you guys, and for them if they ever chance upon these, because I think it's important as a parent, especially unfortunately as a single parent. It's very difficult for me to always find time to focus on one of them. It's always making the kids dinner, making the kids, getting ready for bed, getting the kids ready for school, getting the kids' homework done. And so I try to, as often as I can, focus on one of them, but I'm not going to do that today. I am thankful that my daughters are here. They are my anchors. With all that I kind of mentioned that's going on, they are just always there. And they don't even really have to do anything. They just be themselves. And I'm incredibly thankful for that. They are angels. They're so well behaved, so thoughtful, so empathetic, and so different with it. And I'm going to end it in a moment, but just like I say, it's fascinating where my youngest daughter has that young daughter mentality. My middle one has the same mentality I did as a middle child, which is independent, leave me alone, and then I don't want to be around my older sibling, which is then my older sibling, who is just so mature, blossoming and all that, and challenging me in many ways, but in positive ways. Me to learn about, femininity and being able to focus on things like that, where my brain is not hardwired for that. So again, I talk a lot about perspective and different facets to life. And so again, as I'm experiencing them growing up, it's just opening up different emotional facets to my life, different psychological ones, different, ways to connect. Just again, some of these things I don't even know how to articulate right now because they're new experiences and I don't generally talk. Again, this is one of the reasons I do a lot of this, to kind of start to externalize what's going on up in here. So there's a lot going up in here. So I hope everything's going well with you. You're taking care of yourselves and the ones you love. And this has probably been an entirely too long of a video, but go easy, take care of yourselves, take care of the ones you love, and Thomas Sowell matters. I love you, girls.